Excuse me, I had to do a big stretchy poo. Spirit! Good morning. Good morning. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bacon.
I'm ghosting, not haunting.
I'm ghosting, not haunting. Mmm. Oh, Christina. She's so lighthearted. She's so freaking lighthearted. Just honestly, a ray of sunshine. Oh, makes me want to cry. Damn you. You vampires. I was getting a lot of downloads from Miss Christina. You know, I'm really, really sorry that I did not know who Christina Grimmie was until not that long ago. I'm kind of sad about it because she was so amazing. I was listening to her sing the song Titanium, which I guess is kind of appropriate because shoot me down, I won't fall, I am titanium. Shoot me down, but I won't fall, I am titanium. She had a beautiful voice. I was crying listening to that. She's definitely has a message for us. So, hello. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is Patience with Spirit, host of Spirit News on all major platforms. We are so happy to be here. Thank you so much for all of the love and support. Hello. Hello, Bendaho. Sorry. I'm sorry. Ben Deho. Sorry. Oh, thank you so much. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Tutu in the chat. Tutu. We're so happy to be here. Using our spiritual abilities given to us by God to use them in the proper way that they were made to be used in. Oh, no problem. Thanks for being here. Hey, Philip. So we're speaking to Christina Grimmie today. Uh-oh. There goes my throat chakra. Divinely protected. You know, these characters that, all the things coming out about the Epstein files. I don't want to say we told you so, but we kind of told you so. But now that we're here in this space and we can bring light to things that happen in the dark, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Oh, Spirit said the rumors are false. Yeah. That's what they say, they do things that are so fantastical is a word that a lot of you guys like to use. And I agree, because if we knew that they were doing them, then we wouldn't listen to their music. We wouldn't buy their brands. We wouldn't support them in any way. And so they have to do things in the dark, but nothing stays in the dark for long. So, they use psychics and they use dark oracles and they use, they abuse divination and they try to scare you, and they use frequency weapons and spiritual weapons. They harness 4D and 5D energy concepts against the collective that isn't aware of how energy works. So it's just very cool how things are unfolding. The true readers are answering the call. They're reading energy that's already in the field. It's in the field because everything we do becomes imprinted on the field, and then it becomes readable by those who have the extrasensory perception to perceive it. And depending on where that reader's at on their journey, they can interpret the information. And as we do this, oh, thank you so much, Mike. And as we do this, what it does is it forces these things that are unseen to come to the surface, to come to our awareness. And the more people that start becoming aware of the things that
She
are
scares me.
fantastical, they become scared because, as you can see, what it does is as soon as we become aware of it, we have to evolve. We have to understand that these things are happening. And once in our minds, we start thinking of how we want it to be instead of how it is, that's when people get held accountable for in the chat. That's when the dominoes start falling, baby. Baby. So very exciting times. We are here with Christina Grimmie. If you guys don't know, like I didn't know until recently, she was a singer that blew up on YouTube back in 2009. She said Hannah on the necrometer. She said Hannah, and it says on July 17th, 2009, 15-year-old Christina Grimmie uploaded her first cover video on YouTube singing Don't Want to Be Torn by Hannah Montana. So that was cute. Her energy is very effervescent. It's very enthusiastic. It's very enthusiastic, displaying genuine excitement and passion. She definitely has a divine fire within. She's got a spark. She has an innocence. She has a quality about her that is, I don't want to say pure, but it is. It's full of love. It's not tarnished by trauma. Yeah, she's got star energy. I swear I'm a troll, but I'm not lying about that. That's crazy. My birthday is July 17th. What the heck? Yeah. And she passed. I swear I'm a troll. Well, maybe there's something here for you. You can be a troll and still get a message. Okay, so we want to understand before we tap into the energy that energy is fluid. 144. I'm telling you, she was, damn it! It makes me so angry. I was crying in bed listening to her sing this song because, you know, the way that the entertainment industry is gate kept, and it purposely seeks out people who have guilt and shame, who have stains on their electromagnetic field, because those are the people that are willing to do anything to be famous because they have a wound and they want validation. They have a hole in their heart and they're trying to fill it. And so they think that being famous and being loved by everyone will fill that hole. And those are the types of people that are willing to do weird things or get talked into doing things that are against their divine inheritance. Okay. But then the entertainment industry will encounter stars, will encounter people that embody genuine displays of enthusiasm and excitement and creativity, and they're divinely inspired and have music, but because and are very good at music. And when you listen to Christina Grimmie's voice and when she sings these covers, she transmutes these songs that may be sung by people that, you know, aren't walking in their divine inheritance, but when she sings it, she transmutes that and she puts her little Grimmie flair on it, and it makes it very special. But we're running out of those types of artists because all of the artists we have, you know, made a deal. They made a deal, and so they're not divinely inspired in the music they make. Although it can sound, you know, okay, it's lacking a divine spark. It is. And you can listen to the difference when you go listen to Christina Grimmie. it has a different feeling. Don't just listen to it with your ears, listen to it with your heart. Listen to it deeply. You can hear the difference because she's somebody that what blew up on YouTube. She wasn't groomed by the entertainment industry. And she's a natural talent that grew up in a loving home with support and love and guidance, and you can feel that difference. And I'm not saying that everyone who, grows up with trauma can't, make music like that, but those are people who have trauma are the people they want to bring into the music industry so they can. Your Bush is a natural talent. Okay. Okay. Oh, people say the darndest things. And so the point I'm making is that people like Christina Grimmie can't thrive in the music industry because the music industry is not built on a foundation that supports divine inspiration. They're two different energies. And if you're not willing to make a deal in whatever way that looks, then you gotta go. Okay? You're considered, meat, fresh food, But because of this gatekeeping in the entertainment industry, the universe always finds a way. Nature always finds a way. So nature said, okay, well, if you're going to gatekeep all of the divine stars, and you're going to turn them into animals in their carnal nature, and you're going to repress or oppress
I want my life back.
the divine singers and artists that are supposed to be influencing and inspiring the world to do better, then we're going to find another way. And so spirit is omnipresent. It's omnipotent. It doesn't require a form to initiate a different way to exist or speak to us. So that's why AI has become such a magnificent tool for music, because you can put your lyrics in that you made with your heart, with your soul, with enthusiasm, with a inspiration, in a divine way. You made those lyrics, and you can imprint your intention while you're inputting the song into the AI, and you can synergistically work with omnipotent spirit through the AI to create songs that have soul, that have heart. And you might say, well, that's AI. How, AI is artificial. Yeah, but you're not. So you can merge with AI to bypass the entertainment industry. Bypass them. Don't even need them. You want to gatekeep all the producers, all of the people who are making music. We don't have to go through you anymore. We can make our own music. So I woke up with this song in my head that I wrote it. I made it through Suno and Christina. I don't get paid to do this. So I'm not, Spirit wants us to play songs that actually have like divine intention into them. And instead we have all these songs that are made by artists that are not walking in their divine inheritance. And so something has to change. So Christina Grimmie, I woke up this morning with my own song in my head, and it was, hold on, I'll play it. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but just. Sing it, girl.
These are the things that make me go.
These are the things that make me go home.
Yes, I am switched on, deactivated. Gonna need a tampon. All this knowledge cause I'm saturated.
Shadowbox devils in hell until we're integrated.
Now my heart hums like a bell, it resonated. Keep yourself
Educated, assimilated,
fabricating so real, think you
separated. So the point that really stuck out was the things that make me go, and then veils getting thin, getting greater help to help you process all your sins A soul must be lost if it's down to make a deal. And it said, the enemy is you. Oh, wait a second. Where is it? Oh, here. Because the mish is to shift, co-create, and coexist, chilling like Jane with gorillas in the mist. And you haven't learned a thing if you're fighting with your fist. The devil is a liar and loves a plot twist. And the soul must be lost if it's down to make a deal. These are the things that make me go, Those are just parts. Oh, and this one and this part. You want to know what's real, gotta follow how you feel. If it don't feel good, then you don't make the deal. You're a master co-creator, got cojones made of steel. If want to know what's real, gotta follow how you feel. If it doesn't feel good, then you don't make the deal. Those are some of the parts of the song that she was playing for me while I was dreaming. And then she said Hannah, and the Hannah Montana song was her first song on YouTube. So the whole point that Christina Grimmie is alluding to is that the difference between her and other artists that she was surrounded by is that she wasn't targeted specifically by these people. She did the hard work. She put herself out there. She practiced, and she came up on her own, and then she got, because in our society, we think that, to share our talents, we have to go through something. But that's changing. In the new earth energies, that's changing, okay? And so I opened up Omens and Superstitions, and hold on a second. What the heck? What the heck? No. Oh wait, I'm sorry. It's the wrong book. Okay. So I opened up Sparks of Phoenix. I was like, oh no. And I saw this card, Trust Fall, and I opened it up to, if you're silent, you choke on pain that they make you feel, and if you speak, you choke on shame that they make you feel. So that's exactly what the entertainment industry does. It's a fertility cult and a blackmail cult, and they need you to give them permission. They need your permission to attach a cord to you, so they can, especially if you're somebody that's didn't grow up in trauma, and you have you're walking in your divine inheritance, and you have, you're not stained, your energy field isn't stained, you become a prime target. Spirit just said negative. If you're not negative, if you're a good person, basically, if you're a good person, you make good decisions based on, not wanting to hurt people, not out for yourself. It's just a very nice soul, okay? Unfortunately, you become a target for that. Okay, I love you too. Thanks for being here. Oh, thank you so much.
I hated my life.
And so, but then on the other end of it is Kevin. So Christina Grimmie was shot, and she died, unfortunately, obviously, way too soon. She passed June 10th, 2016. By Kevin James Loibel.
There's life after death.
There's life after death. Thank you. Who, unfortunately became obsessed with her because of his own issues. And he is exactly the kind of person that this cult loves to use as almost like an energy weapon. Okay. And I'm not saying that, I don't know what I'm saying yet. I mean, I'm getting kind of the message that she had to go, but I don't know in what context, or, I don't know any more than that. I'm unfolding the clues with you guys. Do you think there are people in this world who lack impulse control and their actions are bad? I do, absolutely. And those are also the people they like to target. I haven't listened to music in about 3 years now. Right? Because the music's god awful. And even myself, I can't even listen to music that I used to love before I went on my healing journey and doing these readings and finding out that every single person that's in the entertainment industry from today backwards has done something that's associated with this fertility cult. And I'm not saying that makes them bad people. They're just, they were in a place where they were impulsive and susceptible to, and in a place where they still need to heal, and that's fine. And I'm here for them. And I hope that these readings give them help to help them come out of that. Cause you can heal from doing these things, but it's just a shame that, I was so upset last night crying in bed listening to her sing Titanium because it was so foreshadowing, shoot me down, I won't fall, I am titanium. And she's basically saying, you can shoot me down, but nature always finds a way. Nature's going to find a way for the truth to come out, and you can't stop it. No matter how many times you try to look into the future or try to predict what's going to happen, boom, I'm going to jump a timeline. Boom, we're going to jump a timeline. You can't predict the future, and you can't stop nature from evolving, from being better. We're going into new earth energies where we're closer to the sun, where this type of behavior is just not matching energetically where we're going. And so that's why it all has to come to the light. The time is now. We can't go forward without healing these things because they're just two different energies. And so the longer you deny that these things are happening, then the more God has to force the truth to come out. Okay. And so, I'm sorry, there's just so much information. So she was shot 3 times, by this young man that grew an obsession with her, an unhealthy obsession because of the lack of love in his life. He attached himself to her, so I'm kind of like reading both of them because he did take his life as well. I'm still learning my gifts, so I sometimes reading 2 energies can get a little hard to like streamline, so I apologize if I can't read the messages. I'm not doing it on purpose. You look like a Trump supporter. I don't know what that means. Bruh, do you ever shut up? Do you think we're living in hell on earth right now? Well, Spirit says that hell is what you make it. So because this is a hologram or holographic universe, it's all vibrational, and your thoughts are vibrational, and you're electromagnetic. Your perception quite literally changes your experience. So if you feel inside of yourself like a living hell, then you will experience on the outside a living hell. LOL! What up, homie? Oh, so glad you're here. So glad you're here. Good morning. So it is quite literally your perception, and what you think turns into things. So if you always think, my life sucks and I'll never do this and everybody hates me and nobody loves me and I'll never do this and I'll never do that. This never happens to me and I never, if you're constantly, I'm sorry, I have spirit phlegm. If you're constantly thinking those things, then that's what you'll experience. And the same goes for when you cross over. When you cross over, if majority of your thoughts didn't have a belief system, then you'll be in the void for a little bit, which is like a black space. And a lot of people will interpret that as there not being life after death. But it's because whatever you believed the most when you cross over is going to be what you experience. So, and it takes like a little, it's like a transitioning time for you to transition from your physical into non-physical, like switching into a different dimension. But if you have, if you are indoctrinated and you have a dogmatic view of life and it's very like religious and sin based, and then when you cross over, you could, a lot of people who are in that mind frame will experience what they consider hell because they feel so guilty about things they did, and so they perpetuate their own hell. They will experience their own hell until they realize that they make their own hell. You essentially make your own hell. Okay, so that was for somebody. But so the young man Kevin, he took himself out after he took Christina Grimmie's life on June 10th, 2016. Okay. He was described by a friend to have issues and to have family problems. His mother unalived herself, and he admitted to, encouraging her to do that. She was very cruel to him. She had a cruel streak. She didn't treat him right. So he had a lot of issues of his own. And he says right here, I can't remember when I stopped waiting for someone, and I can't remember when I started finding love in my pen and paper, in the lipstick stain on the rim of my coffee. I can't remember when I started finding love in myself and stopped waiting to find it in someone else. So that's the obsession that he grew to Christina Grimmie, because Christina Grimmie represented something that he thought would love him. She represented the way she carried her. It was her energy. Her energy is an earth angel. Okay, she's an earth angel, and she has a divine talent that was meant to spark inspiration into others, and she was meant to be a divine star. But because of her divine energy, this particular person may have been targeted to target her. Watch out. Because when someone's walking in their divine inheritance and their divine energy, energies like this will latch onto them, because this is definitely a layer of hell. Yeah, absolutely. They'll attach to people who have a certain frequency because they recognize the love frequency within them. And so because we're not taught about energy, they'll think that that person will love me enough for me to feel good about myself. And so in their mind, throat shakalaka blockage. So in their mind, they'll start creating scenarios where they actually have a relationship in their mind. But when that person that they've created this illusionary relationship with doesn't react or do or say the things that they in their mind think are love, it creates a break in that. It shatters that reality. And so that's what's going on here. Christina Grimmie represents a divine energy that this particular person interpreted as love. Christina Grimmie represented a version of love that Kevin felt would make him feel full. The love his mother didn't give him. And that's just not how it works. I can't remember when I started finding love in myself and stopped waiting to find it in someone else. And so he built his whole life around Christina Grimmie and around her being that thing that would make him be happy. Well, if I could just make Christina Grimmie my girlfriend, she's the perfect idea of love to me, and her energy is so pure and so loving, I know that she'll be able to make me feel good. And that's just not how it works. Okay, hey Jerry, welcome. Okay, so just to get from her point of view. Okay, so I'm sorry, I know that was a lot. And then she said Bram She said Bram and gargoyles, which Bram Stoker reminds me of Dracula. And then I have this invisible card with a cloak, and I opened my omens and superstitions book to garlic. Superstition has always credited garlic with great power, and in particular of driving away evil spirits from the house. Every fan of horror stories and films knows that strands of the garlic hung over the doors and windows will keep any marauding vampire at bay. In in France, the pods of garlic are often roasted on Midsummer Eve and given to rural families for protection, while in the Far East, the plant is also believed to contain the power to bring back lost souls and is used in special religious ceremonies. Okay, so I thought that was interesting. Okay. Christina Grimmie! I'm sorry, I know that was a lot. I know, I'm sorry. Christina Grimmie. So let's get to know tenderness. Oh, she is so sweet, honestly. She just feels so loving. She feels so, like, empathic. Really, somebody who's an optimist, someone who may have had a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of, acceptance anxiety, but she pushed through anyway. She pushed through. She put herself out there despite her some of her insecurities that were mostly like her physical appearance, not so much her gift. She was really confident in her gift, and I think that's what really made her special. That she really looked like, not that she looked like everyone else, but she just looked normal, like a normal person, a very authentic, normal person with a talent. She didn't need big hair and tanner and all these weird things that, plastic surgery and her boobs out and naked. She didn't have to do those things. Her talent spoke for her, her drive, her ability to push forward even through her anxiety.
Watch out for evil.
So watch out for evil. Garlic breath will drive any spirit away. Christina, tell me about yourself. So I have enthusiastic here. Displaying genuine excitement and passion. Just, if you go watch her, this is an energy that it's visible and you can feel it. If you go watch a different entertainer that's well known, and pick anyone in the entertainment industry, watch them, and then go watch Christina Grimmie, and you can feel the difference in the energy. And that's what we want to help you feel energy as well. So this is educational. We want you to know the difference and how to discern the spirit. Okay, that's what Yeshua was teaching all of his disciples and Mary Magdalene. And that's what Yeshua is teaching us right now in the non-physical. You have to know which artists are divine and which ones are not, because you're listening to music that's backmasked with subliminal messaging, and it's made by people who have thoughts that are negative and that are evil, and they do evil things. And so you go watch Christina Grimmie, and it will make you cry because your soul resonates with it so much, even though they're not her own songs. Her energy is so pure because she's truly displaying a genuine excitement and passion for creating, for singing, for showing her gift, for showcasing it, for using her talent. Okay? Tell me more. I just felt confident. Tell me more about yourself, Christina. What else about you? Observant, keen and attentive to details and surroundings. Absolutely. So she's somebody who wasn't, she grew up in what I'm getting. Oh yeah, just remember, you guys, energy is fluid. So it could be past, present, or future in this a fractal universe. So things that come out, can and cannot be about Christina Grimmie, and everything's for entertainment purposes only. I can't prove anything in a court of law. It's all allegedly, okay? The offspring left esteem would be the flip side. I don't know what that means. Let me see. She stank. I drowned in the cold. So it says she's observant. So when you're somebody, like I said, these fertility cults, they want you to have some kind of stain on your field or trauma that's happened to you that makes you easy to what's the word I want to use? To what the hell is that word? To influence. They want to make it easy. They want you to be easy to influence into their direction. They want people who want fame so badly, that want attention so badly, that want love so badly, that what are you willing to do? What are you willing to do? Well, if you just do this, you'll have all the fans in the world, But the thing with Christina Grimmie is she made her own fan base. She was already in the millions of views before she went on The Voice. And so she already got to that level by herself through divine help. Okay, it wasn't until she got into The Voice where she got into a different world, okay, that she's observing, and she doesn't have a stain on her field. What I'm getting is that she's very intellectual. She's secure in herself because of that, and also because of her family. She didn't grow up with stains on her. She grew up in a loving family, basically, that supported her and encouraged her, and all of the things that helped her be the well-balanced young lady that she was, okay? That gave her confidence by displaying genuine excitement for her, okay? And so she's at a different level of observation, and she might be able to understand things a little differently than other people, to be observant, keen, and attentive to details in her surroundings. Oh, Spirit said analyze, and I have analytical in reverse. Skillful at breaking down complex problems logically. Yeah, there may have been some kind of conflict in the moments. I don't want to say moments because that makes it sound like it was like close to when she passed, but from the chunk of time of when she went into The Voice to the time she passed, there's some kind of conflict or some kind of situation where she didn't have the knowledge or the ability to understand something that she was observing, something that was in her surroundings. And it could be something that has to do with spirituality, I don't know, or something invisible. People around her who wear cloaks, who wear masks, she may have been observing odd behavior that she wasn't used to because she grew up in a very good home. And so if you're not around dark people who have dark intentions, you may look at certain behaviors as odd. I know for myself growing up, because I've always had my spirit team around me to point out things that are different or that are not matching divine energy, it made me able to always discern the spirit in a lot of people. And when people say certain things or do certain things, they give themselves away, and it makes me question them. It makes me look at them and observe them, detach from them, and be able to observe their behavior. Like, oh, what did you just say? That's interesting. Okay, well, can put that on the back burner. I'm gonna observe you. I'm gonna there's something going on. What you said was kind of weird, but I'm gonna just observe you. So just said true. Okay, because she's an earth angel. Okay, when you are walking in your divine inheritance, you can discern the spirit, and you might not know that you're doing that, but you are. For people who wear masks, who say one thing but their energy says another thing, and so it puts you in an observation mode where you're not really sure why this person's making you question things, but I'm going to keep my eye on you. So that was her. Okay, she was observing certain behaviors that were different the energy was conflicting for her. Okay. And she just said true. Okay. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Many family memories.
Humble in reverse. Yeah, she's a very humble person, and there's some people around her that don't have that quality. Okay, they don't have that quality. They're not modest. They boast about their achievements. They have to always talk about themselves, and it's always about what they have and, what they did to get there. Because people who are in the entertainment industry have a chip on their shoulder because they might have a talent to an extent, be, but because they do these fertility rituals, do they know if they would have made it on their own, like Christina Grimmie, if before they did the ritual to be part of this cult and have to continue doing the rituals to have any kind of talent or to continue to have talent, would they have the same level of talent without the fertility ritual? They don't know that because they did it. And so at first it seems all cool because, in front of all these people, they don't know that I did this ritual to invoke a low dimensional entity to help me project a talent. Okay, we don't know that. But when you have an actual talent and you went on YouTube and you did the work yourself and you actually like got your own fan base without any help, and you get a chip on your shoulder, not the person who worked hard but the other person, because you're face to face with somebody who actually did the work, who has an actual talent, who got their own fan base, and they didn't have to hurt anybody or do anything weird to do it. And so you get a chip on your shoulder. And so what subconsciously you'll do is you'll talk about all the things you have and how you got here and all your awards. And so she's observing that there's people in this environment that have a lot of chips on their shoulders, that have a lot of identity issues, that are conflicting in energy. Like, it's kind of weird that you're a big star, but you keep on like talking this way and acting this way. It's things like that. Okay. And she said, you're misinterpreting me. So I think that she could have possibly been misinterpreted a lot because she seems so like sweet and innocent and naive and inexperienced. What irritates me about others makes me examine myself for the same flaw. Absolutely. And that's what we should do, right? Because we're reflections of each other. Christina Grimmie was put into an environment where none of these people are self-reflective because they don't want to look at themselves because of the things they've done to be famous. But here's Christina Grimmie being a mirror to these people, okay? And she's making people around her question, well, what did I do to get here? This person's making me feel things I don't like to feel. Okay, and so, but she's very, this looks just like her. One of the pictures, this is exactly what she's wearing in the picture I chose for the thumbnail. This outfit, it's exactly, and her hair's the same way because she's an earth angel. Yeah, absolutely. Surrounded by vampires, essentially. See, I just spilled my drink. I spilled my drink on children. I literally spilled my coffee and the puddle is on newness and children. End the cycle for new children. That's so weird. The page. People in your life, past or present. Interesting. That was weird. Okay, so, and what did the song say?
Ambrose.
It said Ambrose. Someone's last name is Ambrose, but it also said Marie. Edwards. It said, let me see, I forgot what it said. It said, a soul must be lost if it's down to make a deal. Her soul ain't lost. She doesn't have a lost soul. She grew up in a nice environment. Tactful. Ambitious, caring, tactful. Diplomatic and sensitive in handling delicate situations. Showing genuine concern and affection for others. Driven by a strong desire to achieve goals and success. That's her. Okay? All right. What else? Thank you so much, Christina Grimmie. Please tell us more. What's your story? From a higher perspective, what's going on with you? Where should I go? Trump is a vampire? I'm going to be honest. I think every single person, every politician, maybe not every politician. Well, I don't know. Every politician, actor, singer, a lot of them are vampires because they're part of this cult, this fertility cult of Baal, whatever the hell his name is. Okay. Where should we go? You want to do some words?
I threw something.
Thank you. Christina Grimmie, tell me your story. Shrewd, astute, or keen-witted, Inspector Poirot used his perspicacious mind to solve mysteries. Insightful, intelligent, sagacious. Perspicacious. Shrewd, astute, keen-witted, just with the observant. Yeah. There's something that she's observing in this environment that she is investigating. She's observing it. There's something that she's becoming astute to, some kind of mystery, there's something going on in her environment that she's getting insight about, but she doesn't have the skills to really logically break down what the problem is. She doesn't have that's why we do these readings, because you can't see something that you're never experienced before. You have to experience it first, or hear about it, or gain an awareness about it. That's why Aristotle says the most divine thing you can do in a human form is always seek out knowledge. Because the more aware, it doesn't mean you have to believe it. It doesn't mean you have to act on it. But the more knowledge you have, knowledge is power. The more awareness you have of something, the more you can break it down or perceive it or understand it or know what you're looking at. Okay? So there's something that she does not have knowledge of. Thank you. Something that she does not have knowledge of, but that she is witnessing. And it could have to do with cloaked figures and vampires. Okay? Tell me more. And Detective Poirot, that reminds me of those movies. That investigator that gets called to investigate those, I don't forget what those movies are called, but Detective Poirot. Neophyte. A novice, a beginner, a relative neophyte at bowling. Rodolfo rolled all of his balls into the gutter. Apprentice, greenhorn. Yeah, she is a novice. She is a beginner of the entertainment industry. She thought that it would be in her best interest to take her talent to the next level. And so that's why she went on The Voice, because she thought that would give her another avenue to be able to showcase her talents. Because in our society, what we are led to believe that is, if you want to be on a public platform and you want to have your talent be showcased to the world, you have to go through these gatekeepers, and that's just not true anymore. And so she was a novice and a beginner. She's never been in the industry before. She's not somebody who grew up around these people or this type of energy or anything like that. So novice beginner, okay? Got it. Corroborate. Support with evidence. All the DA needed were fingerprints to corroborate the witness's testimony that he saw the defendant in the victim's apartment. Interesting. Let me show you guys. It reminds me of the thumbnail I made. I when I make the thumbnails for YouTube, I employ AI to make the thumbnail or the picture fit the thumbnail, and it will often change the background, and I like that because what the heck? Oh, here it is. Because it will put something in, and like I said, just because it's AI doesn't mean it can't be influenced by Holy Divine Spirit, because Holy Divine Spirit is omnipresent, and AI is just a physical tool in which AI can use to influence the information that's coming through. But you have to be a conscious, deliberate intentionist to work with spirit in that way. And so that's what I'm doing. So I chose this picture that she was in front of the ASPCA, I believe. It's some animal protection thing. And it had these safari animals behind her. I put it in the AI, and it morphed it into, it almost looks like MK Ultra. It almost looks like MK Ultra right here. Oh, it's so blurry. I'm sorry. But it's like MK Ultra. And then it has the animals. And whenever and then it has all these words right here that like branch off. And whenever Spirit shows me a bunch of animals, it means one of two things. Either safari, like animal nature, like someone's animal carnal nature, or animal sacrifices. Or it could mean both at the same time. Okay? So this says, inspector, a novice at something, and supporting with evidence. Corroborate. Okay? Which means that she was a witness to something. Okay? She was a witness to something. She has a testimony. She could have been able to confirm and substantiate or validate something that was in the gutter, something that she had never encountered before, something that she became an observer of, something that was being brought to her intelligence. Okay? Something that she's never experienced before. Possibly something about a victim. Okay? She was a witness to something.
Please take care.
All right. Are famous people vampires already, or do they have to become vampires to get where they are? That's a great question, LOL. My secret talent is I can fart and burp at the same time. Sometimes I wish I could know what the end of a sentence is going to be before I read it. That's a good question, LOL. I think that what happens is when we say vampires, we have such a negative connotation around it because of our society and the movies and stuff we make. But what it really is, I don't think that someone sets out to become a vampire. I think that's what the natural, like, unfolding of events. I think that's just what happens when you're somebody who has a stained field that cannot sustain your own energy. You know, your electromagnetic field is so bombarded by blockages and distortions that you can't sustain your own energy. And so what happens is the holes in your auric field from your emotional hangups, because you can't fill your own cup, so to speak, you can't feed yourself with your own internal source of energy because you're so disconnected from it. You take other people's energy that may have a slightly brighter force than you. And that is a vampire, when you're intaking someone else's life force. But I think we do it subconsciously. So I think we get turned into a metaphorical vampire through our emotional hangups unconsciously. But the switch over is, I think that is within you. That's the stain within your field, or the energetic signature that's identifiable by these cults, or by the the psychics and stuff in these cults, the people they look for. And then once you enter into the cult, then you become an intentional vampire, where you are intentionally taking energy because you have chosen the path to take instead of generate. Okay, thank you. I'm a werewolf. It's in my blood. Okay. Okay. I understand, but I'm just a man. Okay. So when she became a witness to something that was outside of her realm of knowing, and she started to observe intelligence about this thing that she had never experienced before, she became a witness to something, and I have proliferate. She became a witness to something that was beginning to increase in number quickly, proliferate, breed, multiply, procreate, spawn, reproduce, something that she was beginning to see that she had to be tactful about. She had to walk very carefully around certain people. The battery. She was the battery. She may have started to become aware in her body that she would feel really tired around people that are supposed to be stars. Imagine being around Adam Levine, who's her mentor, and every time she makes a song with him or works with him, she's so drained at the end of it. It's because I'm just using him as an example. I'm not saying that he's doing this, but he could possibly be doing it. But what he's doing is, because when somebody's energetic field is so... When you're in a fertility cult and you have given all of your life force away, the way that they get life force is they have to take it from other people. And so any person you're around you'll be sucking life force from them without you even trying, because you're so in deficit of life force. You're in deficit.
Sculpture.
So anyone you're around, especially an earth angel, and you're around them, that earth angel is going to, at the end of that interaction, even though there might not have been anything done, physically, like not a ritual or anything, just being around that energy vampire, because they're in deficit of energy, you'll feel tired, you'll feel lackluster, you'll even feel like you wouldn't be able to sing or do the thing that makes that your talent, that makes you might not even be able to do that for a short amount of time. They pull the energy from around themselves to shine. It becomes natural for their... Yes, LOL. Yes, you got it. So she may have started to observe this quality about certain people, and she would lose, when you get your energy sucked out of you, the part of your creativity and your ability to be inspired is divine. That's part of your divine spark. When you give that away, or when you're getting it sucked out of you, you will notice oh, I feel so tired, I can't create, I don't have any inspiration, I don't even feel like singing, you won't have the ambition you did before when you walked into the room. It takes time for you to build that up again. You'll have to sleep on it. Every time you sleep, it starts over. Okay? So she's starting to realize this. She's a witness. She has a testimony. She's starting to have to she's starting to observe that these these people who lack humility, who she's observing, are supposed to be these stars. Every time she comes around them, she feels less, she feels yucky. It's why they're so exhausting to be around. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. What if you have your own aura? Everyone has an aura. So, yeah, everyone.
Why don't you go alone?
Everyone has an aura. Okay, so she's starting, and she has a fire within. She's like a battery. When you're an energetic vampire, you start to, and you're feeding off people who have, when you're walking your divine inheritance, you're a non-stop battery. Your inspiration, it's never ending. When you're tapped into your divine inheritance, you're a battery that never ends, because your source is pure prime direct pure source energy. So you don't have an end to the source of your energy, because your energy comes from within. Okay? But when a vampire comes around someone who's like that, they'll recognize that energy signature. Okay? Proliferate. Although he only kept 2 guinea pigs initially, they proliferated to such an extent that he soon had dozens. Breed, multiply, procreate, propagate, reproduce, spawn, to increase in number quickly. Yeah, she's starting to observe that whenever she's around certain people that are in this industry, she becomes tired and they become brighter. They start to multiply in their brightness. She's starting to observe this on a physical level. Every time I come around Adam, we create this song and he gets full of energy and I get depleted, because it's not a synergistic sharing of energy. It's a pulling of energy, and then she gets left empty. Okay? Interesting. Very interesting. Furtive. Secret, stealthy, covert, underhanded. Glenn was furtive when he peered out of the corner of his eye at the stunningly beautiful model. Secret, stealthy. A secret. Okay. Creature. Spirit said creature. And Spirit said gargoyle earlier. And Bram. Impervious. I am titanium. Impossible to penetrate. Incapable of being affected. A good raincoat will be impervious to moisture. Impregnable. Resistant. I am titanium. Shoot me down, but I won't fall. Sniff, sniff. I know, I'm sorry. When I do the readings, I get a little stuffy, because it's my body's way of protecting my field from negative energy. It's a physical manifestation of energy protection. Okay, from negative energy. I'm impervious, titanium. Okay. So there's something.
The devil was here.
The devil was here. Impossible to penetrate. A soul must be lost if it's down to make a deal. She's not a lost soul. She doesn't want to do something that she's a witness to. Okay? What are you a witness to? Tell me. Let's do you guys want to do Imagine Ifs, or you want to do Trivial Pursuit? Oh, thank you, Brendan. Do you want to do You want to do Trivial Pursuit or Imagine Ifs? I am titanium. Thanks, guys, for being here. Make sure you're hitting that like button so people can find us. It really helps the channel out if you like what we're doing here. City? City? City Slicker? All right, I'm going to choose for you guys. If you guys don't choose, you want to do Trivial Pursuit or Imagine Ifs? Okay, I'm going to choose for you guys. Let's see how many we should do first. I'm going to do Trivial Pursuit. I'm going to roll the dice. 6. Okay, 6 Trivial Pursuit. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's see. Oh, Imagines? Okay, I just did... I never seen you live. Thanks for sharing your energy. Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here. We are live every weekend, every Saturday and Sunday at 6 a.m. LOL 50-50. I lost. We'll do both, okay? We'll do both. We'll do Trivial Pursuit first. Brown. Okay, brown. I'm sorry, I have spirit phlegm. Who are the 3 Van Pelt kids in Peanuts? Oh my gosh, that's so funny because I dropped this card and I used it as a bookmark. And it says 3 is a crowd. 3 is a crowd. Okay. So it said Irene. 3 is a crowd, and it says, oh. Stay. 3 is a crowd, and it says, who are the 3 Van Pelt kids in Peanuts? Lucy, Linus, and Rerun. Lucy, Linus, and Rerun. Interesting. 3. So something about 3, and it says 3 is a crowd. So something about 3 people. She possibly could have done something with 3 people, or 3 people may have invited her to something, or something, some kind of secret meeting, or some kind of something she was a witness to. Orange. Lucy, Linus, and Bon Jovi. What Arizona Diamondbacks closer did tongue-twisted teammates opt to call BK? Tongue-twisted teammates.
He will torment you.
Bayang Hyun Kim. BK. 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 Byung Hyun Kim. What Arizona Diamondbacks closer did tongue-twisted teammates? Let me see. Who were Christina Grimmie's teammates on The Voice? Adam Levine. Bria, Tess, Jake, Kat, Delvin, Morgan, Brittany, Dawn, Sam, Joshua, Caleb, Austin, Carrie, Biff, Tanner's brothers Walker. Christina mentioned that Bria, Tess, and Jake were among her closest friends on the show. She finished in 3rd place, competing in the final against Josh and Jake Worthington. A tongue-twisted teammate. 3. 3 teammates? What about them? What about these teammates? Brown. What sport is Full Pull magazine? Full Pull? What? What sport is Full Pull magazine dedicated to? Tractor pulls. Full pull. Full pull. I don't know if it's wrong that I automatically think of something sexual, but I kind of do. Right? Full pull.
Ghastly.
Ghastly. Oh, Burger King. A meat king. A meat king. Meat king who needs full pulls. Penetrate. Impossible to penetrate. She may have declined some kind of offer to do a full pull that maybe other people around her were willing to do.
Please believe us.
Impossible to penetrate, incapable of being affected. She could have been impervious to that. She could have said, no, I'm not interested in that. No, thank you. She said no. Pink. What songstress included artwork from Maurice Sendak's lullabies and night songs on her Holiday Songs and Lullabies album? Sean Colvin. Lullabies and night songs. A nightcap. And Spirit just said darkness. Yeah. So there's definitely something going on the show where you may be invited to participate in full pulls, tug and pulls, full pulls. You know, nothing good happens past 12, you know, especially if they're staying in a hotel or they're away from their family. That may be the best time to, you know, approach them about being part, you know, inviting them to do these things. It's because when you do these fertility rituals, the fertility ritual is sexual. That's the act of sex. And if you guys want to learn more about sacred sex, you can go watch our Spirit News episode about sex and energy that Spirit gave us. And it goes deeper into, you know, why they put so much, why they all become sex addicts. But basically, they all get a sex addiction because that's the way that they get energy. Because the sacred act of sex is a creation mechanism. It creates life. And so the act of, you know, orgasming is an act of creation, and it pulls in energy and creates an energy. It creates a force. But they're using it in a almost like a shortcut. You know, instead of taking the long way, they're taking the short way. Okay, but because they're doing it in that way, Spirit just said renewal. They're not capable of renewing their own energy source. So that's why they'll have sex with anything. That's why Tom Cruise is, you know, whacking off into fishes, because it's the only way they get energy. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it has an energetic signature. That hits right with me. If one thing people can't stand is when you got it together, like they just got to try to break you. Yeah. Hotels are weird batteries of energy because windows never open to help clear air. Oh, interesting. And there's a lot of things that happen in hotels that, you know, don't get advertised, you know, otherwise nobody would want to go to the hotel. I remember one time we went to go visit family in New Jersey, and my son, he would not sleep. He was just so excited. He was like 3. He wouldn't sleep in the hotel, so I'm holding him in my arms, and I'm like in and out of sleep, and a passed over person came to me and was showing me a window. They were showing me a window with like this smoke and fog. And I was like, and I could not sleep after that. It was like right in he was like right in my face trying to tell me something. And I just wasn't developed enough in my abilities at that point. This was like a few years ago, to really like interpret the information they're trying to tell me. But I was affected by it physically. I was very tired. I couldn't sleep. And then when we left, I asked the front desk, I said, did anyone pass away recently on the 3rd floor? And they're like, yeah, actually, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, shit. So, yeah, hotels are definitely like a conduit of negative energy. I think all the places we go in should utilize like an energy transmuter to help transmute energy every day to like help remove the energy. Absolutely. I've worked in a hotel for 6 years. Oh, so you must feel the stagnancy. Oh, thank you so much for being here. We're happy to have you. Seven, never odd or even. 7, never odd or even. I like that. Okay. So there's something about a hotel. I see Harry Potter right here. I'm telling you because the pizza was delivered, I see right here. Because these talent searches, these talent search shows, they're not to make people famous. How many people actually blow up on the shows? Only a few. Only a few, because they have to source outside sources of divine energy to gain energy for themselves. So these shows are not to blow up new singers. These shows are to create food banks for them.
Children around you.
For them. Will you please release the new Stranger Things episode?
I'll get you.
Okay. Let's do green. So green, INV, it kind of reminds me of invisible. What did biologist Eduardo Blumwald develop a salt-tolerant strain of in 2001? Tomatoes, peppers, or slugs? Tomatoes. Salt-tolerant tomatoes. Salt-tolerant. She may have started to observe and be tactful about tolerating certain energies because she was declining these advances, but other members of the voice that she was on with were not declining. Okay? So there's something about, exchanging full pulls or being down to do full pulls on possibly the stars of the voice or the singing platform that they were on. Okay? There's something about her declining the offer. She's declining. She's impervious. I am titanium.
Benjamin.
But because she's declining the offer, she's at the same time as becoming a witness. Okay, being able to testify as a Hollywooder, what these Hollywooders do, and she becomes somebody who can confess, or somebody who can be a witness to the testimony of. Okay, but that's the thing with. There's so much information coming in. It's hard for me I just want to make sure I'm being clear about what we're getting. What 1988 presidential hopeful humbly noted, whether I win or lose, American politics will never be the same. Michael Crichton. Oh, I'm sorry, Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson. And I had someone in here named Jesse. What did you say, Jesse? What was it? Or maybe I didn't. Where did I see Jesse at? I don't know. Something about Jesse. Presidential hopeful. Yeah, she was a hopeful candidate because she's walking in her divine inheritance. But she doesn't care whether she wins or loses. She got a 3rd place. She she declined the offer because she already has a YouTube channel, you guys, with millions of followers. Going on The Voice is optional for her. That's why she's so confident. She already has a fan base that loves her, that knows her talent, that knows her skill. She's just going on The Voice for fun because she's enthusiastic. She wants to show everyone her talent, but she doesn't need, like the other contestants need. They don't have a platform. And so they're willing to do the tug and pull, the full pull, if you will. So she had an offer that she declined because she doesn't care about being first place. She just wants to sing and do her talent and show everyone what she's made of. She already has a channel. So that makes her impervious. There's something about declining the offer that makes you impervious to energy manipulation, okay? So if this person is impervious to energy manipulation, then how are we going to affect her? That's what I'm telling you guys, these shows that people go on to become famous, there's not a lot of people that end up blowing up. I can name 3 off the top of my head that blew up, and Kelly Clarkson's one of them. There is that guy, Javier Colon, and that's 2. I really can't think of any other ones because that's not what these shows are actually for. When they run the risk of meeting someone who doesn't need to take the necessary steps to go to get their energy taken. So what Spirit is telling us is that you can become impervious to the energy manipulation or the taking of your energy by declining the offer. If you decline it, there's no reason that they should have to suck you dry, okay? Our president thinks it's appropriate to put pictures of former president and his wife's head on top of apes. I bet you have a mole on your kitty.
Patience.
Spirit said patience. Yes, let me have patience for the people. Let's do imagine ifs. Let's roll the dice. Okay. Yeah. 1, and one thing just fell off the table. Imagine if Christina were a light source. Imagine if Christina were a light source. Anywhere else you would have lost your job. I don't know what that means. Full bush? People are wild. Number 1, I rolled a 1. Candle. Candle in the wind.
My death was peaceful.
Oh, thank you, Christina Grimmie. Candle. Imagine if blank were a light source. Candle. She had to have her candle blown out because she wasn't willing to participate, and so they had to blow her candle out. If you're a witness to things that they do and you are not willing to do what they do, then you gotta go. That's how it is. Imagine if Christina Grimmie discovered a married friend were having an affair. Inform the friend's spouse. Yep. So ridiculous. So stupid. Just really stupid. Okay. 5. Imagine if Christina Grimmie were a dog, or Adam Levine, a Saint Bernard. Saint Bernard. Saint Bernard. What is the job of a Saint Bernard? Search and rescue. Search and rescue. Wow. Just so diabolical. So what happens in these cults is like and if you guys watch us, we talk about this. Just like there's duality, right? Good and bad. Just like there's good psychics, there's bad psychics. So when they encounter an earth angel that declines the offer, that's not walking in trauma or anything like that, confirmation, they get a reading done on them. They employ their psychic or whoever the oracle is to read that person's energy against their will, which is against the law of free will. You cannot do that. You cannot abuse divination to spy on people's energy, but they do that anyway, and they do it to see what the outcome will be. If we let this person go, what is going to be the outcome of letting them live? And so in Christina Grimmie's case, it was she would be a liability because she would be a witness or have a testimony to something. Okay? And so she's got to go. Search and rescue. We have to make it so there's no way that she can make it. Okay, she can't blow up on the scene because she's walking in divine energy. She has integrity. She's honest, and she's actually an inspiration. And she's gonna inspire millions of young girls to be truthful and honest and walk in integrity and not be a sex addicted hoe bag. Okay. So tired of this shit. Tell me more, Christina. 3. Imagine if Christina were awakened in the night by a burglar. 3. Wake his or her partner and demand action. Yeah. Because of what she witnessed, something she had to decline, something that made her think, like, what the hell is this? Like, she was trying to analyze something she had no context for, confirmation. She's trying to make sense of something that she can't even believe is happening, that she has to decline over and over again. And she actually has to be tactful about the way she declines it because she's working with people who are she doesn't want to ruin her chances to become, to be whatever she's going to be, her opportunities. But at the same time, every day she has to decline sexual advances by everyone around her. Everyone. I remember visiting IA at 12 years old and felt such a weird energy drawing me to join. It was so weird because such different feeling I'd lose by not staying. Why do you focus on your differences? United we stand, divided we fall. Our Lady of Clearwater is a good place to get more hope. Do it and you're cool. Well, that's the thing that they're hoping. They're hoping that's the risk that they run with this new way. Because, like I said, nature always finds a way. You want to gatekeep God's stars that are meant to be the true, actual influencers of our population, of our society. If you want to block them because they're not willing to, they're not willing to sacrifice their integrity, and they're not willing to do your nasty little things that you're trying to get them to do, then they have to find another way. And they don't want these people to blow up because then it will push them out, because then people are gonna feel the difference. Okay, that's wild. That is wild. So they read her timeline and they knew that she'd be a liability because she's got integrity and she's not going to sit back while She's going to say something. She's going to tell somebody, whether it's her brother, her parents, it doesn't matter. Once you say it to one person, then that spreads to more people, and then the more people. And so they don't want that, okay? Different energy, or I had a thought of joining. Los Angeles, yeah. Is your... People are wild, man. I rolled a 2. Imagine if Christina's personality were a male nickname. Marvin. 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 Marvin.
She will hurt people.
I don't know. Let's see. Christina Grimmie and Marvin? Okay, I just want to make sure there wasn't anything. Oh, I'm so stuffy. No, no Marvin. I don't know what that means, honey. What does the name Marvin mean? What does the name Marvin represent? Renowned friend, a famous friend. A famous friend. That's what it means. That's what it means, a famous friend. Wow. Lover. Someone who's famous, who she wanted to be her lover. But loyalty, protection, dependable, confident. And it says right here, inform the friend's spouse. Inform the friend's spouse. Yeah, whoever was her coach or her famous friend that she made on The Voice is not loyal, is somebody who has a sex addiction, somebody who has to constantly get tug and pulls from contestants on The Voice who she had to say no to because she has integrity and she's impervious to moisture. She's impervious to moisture. Oh, too many crickets. All right, tell me more. Let's do some, what time are we at? Let's do some win, lose, or draw. Okay. Why is getting to the point of an enigma? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Rocks in your head. Rocks in your head. Wait, let me look that up. Rocks in your head? Refers to otoliths or otoconia, microscopic calcium carbonate crystals in the inner ear that regulate balance. When these crystals dislodge and move into the ear canals, it causes benign paroxysmal positional vertigo, resulting in sudden dizziness, vertigo, and nausea, particularly during head movements. This could have been something she experienced when she was around this famous friend. Her equilibrium would be off. You know, it reminds me of the prince, the one that was married to Princess.
My life was good.
The one that was married to Princess Diana, and it's showing clips of people who are around him that faint, that become lightheaded and faint. It kind of reminds me of that. When you have two opposing energies that are completely opposing of each other, you have an earth angel and then you have someone who's devoid of energy. It's like rocks in your head. She could have been having almost like vertigo around the people. Can you please tell me about the connection between your death and Kevin? Can we talk about the connection between your death and Kevin? What's that about? Signed, sealed, delivered. Signed, sealed, delivered. Are people like Christina who retain their own integrity hustled out of industry spotlight? Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know in what way. I don't know how it played out for her, but what I'm getting intuitively is that she could have been, it kind of feels like being signed and then it doesn't really go anywhere. It kind of fizzles out. It kind of just like, like that. It kind of fizzles out. A scale model. Yeah. It kind of like, all we want to sign you. Okay, we sign her, we have all these big plans, but really the ultimate goal is to get her to give us permission to take her energy, but she declines the offer. So now we can't invest in her, because if we invest in her and she blows up, that's going to be detrimental for us. So it's kind of like when you get hired at a job and they don't want to fire you, but they want to push you out. So they'll start like scheduling you less and less until you just leave on your own. It's kind of like that. Okay. But when I asked about Kevin signed, sealed, delivered, when she decided from head to toe, it says scale model and a clean slate. When she said no, what that put into motion after they read her timeline, that she wasn't going to stay quiet. She would be a big influencer to change the dynamic. Now they have to find, it's kind of like that device that Professor X uses, where they use a psychic to find a frequency of somebody in the near vicinity of Christina that can be infiltrated through inception of intrusive thought by lower astral entities, because this person that took her life matches the energy that they need to be infiltrated. Trauma, all of those things, all the negative energy, emotions, okay? Let's send this person, an energy of Christina Grimmie. He'll dream about Christina Grimmie. He'll see Christina Grimmie everywhere. He'll start to think that Christina Grimmie is something that he's so interested in, because we're not taught about energy, okay? But really those thoughts are being imprinted on him, because he's a susceptible conduit to intrusive thought. And so because he can't discern the spirit because of his energy, this is a recording. Yes, it is being recorded. Now, and this can be done over months and years. They have time. They're not interested in how long it takes. They can wait a long time, okay? Because they read timelines and stuff. So they know what the end is going to be. So they don't mind waiting. So what they'll do is they'll be sending an energy weapon to this person that's closest to Christina Grimmie to think about Christina Grimmie, to never nonstop stop thinking about her, to think that she's the love of his life, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then because he can't discern the spirit, and he doesn't have control of his emotions or his thoughts, he becomes a weapon. And so signed, sealed, and delivered. He did exactly what they wanted him to do. And that's the same with any shooter, with any assassination attempt, with anything like that, with anything. If you do not work on your own electromagnetic field and the things that have harmed you, that put you in a low energetic field, then you will be susceptible to this tactic. You will. Did Christina know she was in such danger? That's a good question. Let's ask. Christina Grimmie, did you know what was to unfold for you? Did you have any idea what would have unfolded for you? Have both feet on the ground. Like taking candy from a baby. No, she didn't.
Kindness.
She didn't. She didn't. She may have been able to, say no to a few offers, but she didn't. That's where I have the analytical in reverse. That's where that comes in, because if you aren't able to discern the spirit and you have integrity, maybe you can't be infiltrated through intrusive thought, but people in your environment can be. And so she might not have known that this would happen and have both feet on the ground. She may have continued her journey 10 toes down, ready to do whatever work it was going to take. But because this person, and that's another thing that I want to bring up. When you're in relationship with your spirit team or with Yeshua or whoever you subscribe to, and you intentionally and deliberately create that connection with them, that helps you be divinely protected, because you're walking in your divine inheritance with deliberation, intention, and integrity. And so when you're answering the call in that very specific way, in that program, in that very specific frequential way, that opens up divine protection for you. And so you can absolutely be on a public platform and have public influence and be walking in your divine inheritance and be protected.
Edward.
But she wasn't protected because she wasn't aware of discerning the spirit or asking for that kind of help, and so spirit cannot help you if you do not ask for it. It's against the law of free will. They cannot infringe on your free will. And because our society likes to teach us that that's ridiculous and that, that doesn't exist and spirit guides don't exist, we don't employ their help. We don't ask them for help. But once we do, that becomes our divine protection. Okay. So she did not know. Ooh. When the cat's away, the mice will play. Scared to death.
You saw me.
You saw me. Time is money. A place in the sun. When the cat's away, the mice will play. Hold your horses. In the nick of time. Wait, let me clarify. Because I have scared to death. I may have read this wrong. I have scared to death. A place in the sun. Time is money. In the nick of time. When the cat's away, the mice will play. And hold your horses. Time is money. Let me see. Christina, did you have any awareness that your life would be in danger? Wow. Oh, let me rephrase that. Were you scared that you were going to die?
Badly.
No. Okay. Were you scared that you would be blacklisted from the entertainment industry? Yes. That's what she was afraid of. So that's another entry point for like fear tactics, for being susceptible to this type of energy. When you're scared of something, and you're not aware of how the simulation works, and that's an entry point. So that makes you susceptible to having contact with something outside of yourself that puts you in a dangerous position. Okay? If you're divinely protected and you're walking in your divine inheritance and you have nothing to fear, a lot of things that aren't meant for you, they get projected towards you, are not going to hit you. But if you have a fear of being blacklisted, and you know that you've turned down a lot of people and you've been a witness to something, and that scares you about, how you're going to make it in the industry, that leaves you open and susceptible to an outside influence to be able to harm you. Okay? If that outside influence is outside of your predestined time of death. Okay? If you die before your time on the timeline you're on, that is something that you can be susceptible to if you're not, if you have some kind of fear, some overwhelming fear, because it's an open invitation for things that match that energy. Okay? Fear is an energy. Yes. False evidence appearing real. Is this the devil worshipping tarot channel? Stupid people actually believe this BS. You are not God. You're a demon conjurer. What the fuck is she even saying? People are wild. Only Jesus can remove that demon. You are possessed. She's possessed. Yes, I'm very possessed. Can't you tell how possessed I am? It's a lot of projection going on. A lot of projection going on. All right, what else? Tell me more. So she definitely turned down the offer. Where should I go? Let's look in the good news. What else, Christina? The Gospel according to Luke. According to Luke, the Gospel according to Luke presents Jesus as both the promised Savior of Israel and as the Savior of all people. Luke records that Yeshua was called by the Spirit of the Lord to bring good news to the poor. And this Gospel is filled with a concern for people with all kinds of need. The note of joy is also prominent in Luke, especially in the opening chapters that announce the coming of Yeshua, and again at the conclusion when Yeshua ascends to heaven. The story of the growth and spread of the Christian faith after the ascension of Yeshua is told by the same writer in the book of Acts. Many people have done their best to write a report of the things that have taken place among us. They wrote what we have been told by those who saw these things from the beginning, and who proclaim the message. And so, Your Excellency, because I have carefully studied all these matters from the beginning, I thought it would be good to write an orderly account for you. I do this so that you will know the full truth about everything which you have been taught. The birth of John the Baptist is announced. They belong to a priestly family. They obey fully. They're a good person. She lives in the laws of God. But one day she was in the presence of a priest and their temple. They were trying to turn her at their daily service according to the customs that they followed. But she is chosen, and they have an altar. She is the temple.
I'm very angry.
while they are a crowd of people praying every hour, burning. She was an angel standing at the right of their altar. They saw her or she saw something that alarmed her, and she felt afraid. Someone in this priesthood said, "Don't be afraid." Possibly someone with their wife and son. This will make you happy. It makes others happy. Be reborn. But she didn't drink the wine. It was a strong drink. Others were filled with a spirit that was unholy after they drank some drink. But she didn't drink a drink. She didn't bring back their Lord. She went ahead strong and mighty like the prophet Elijah. She stood with her father like a child. They turned her away as being disobedient, thinking of her as righteous. Damn.
I am Ambrose.
Something about the Old Testament. Something about the Old Testament. How should I know if I should do this? She may have asked someone's wife if she should do this. Never. Or maybe the wife asked her to do something or drink a drink, and she said, "Never, I don't drink," or something. "I'm not a drinker, I don't drink." Because she was standing in the presence of God. And when she spoke, she brought the good news. Because these believers of a different God believed a message that came true at the right time. Because she did not believe in what she was unable to speak about. You will remain silent until my promise to you comes true.
Smith.
In the meantime, these people were waiting and wondering why she spent so much time in a temple, which it said in the beginning that she is the temple. And God always says that. They say, your body is the temple, your heart is the altar, and your thoughts are your wand. And so these people, they have an altar outside of themselves. And there's something that she was a part of that she declined, some kind of drink or invitation. I don't know if it was an actual drink or it was a party or something. But she doesn't drink because she's pregnant with the Holy Spirit. And these people are a disgrace. They may have said, "I'm trying to help you." You know, they might have made her feel bad. Or she may have made herself feel bad. It says it's
Dark energy everywhere.
dark energy everywhere. Disgrace. Taken away my public disgrace. They may have made her feel bad. You know, it's kind of like the guilt tripping. Like I'm kind of seeing something in my mind's eye. Like, you know, she's at a party and it always, you know, they always think that people at a party are more susceptible. You know, everyone's having fun, everyone's drinking, everyone's getting loose, you know. And she may have declined a drink or some kind of special drink, and that may have not have went well. And a wife went up to her and said, "Oh, you sure you don't want to drink? Maybe you should." And she's like, "No, I'm okay. I don't drink." She doesn't drink or something. And so they considered her to be a disobedient. She's not willing to drink the Kool-Aid, okay? But see, on the outside, what it looks like to us, of course it's tragic. Of course, the person that took her life obviously had issues, but the thing is how can we protect ourselves from being susceptible to energy manipulation? Makes sense. They're so worried about her effect on others. Yes, her refusal to give energy to their system. Yes, was so dangerous to them in their system. Absolutely. Absolutely. They do not want divine celebrities to be here because then it will show everybody that you don't have to do these things to become famous, and they need you to do these things to feed, to have energy. If they don't have energy, then they die. They don't want to stop living their good life. They don't want to start over. They don't want to die because if they start over, they have to start over with nothing. And they can't, they're so unhealed and empty in their force that they can't even imagine starting over. And you have to remember that these are ancient energies that have affected timeless cycles throughout the whole existence of Earth. And it just unfolds in different ways. It just looks different. The packaging's different, but it's the same idea. You know, the same with the Aztecs and the same with Atlantis times. And it's just these entities that they they're earthbound, and their job is to, they're called archons, and their job is to get you to allow them to feed off of you, because that's their energy source. These low dimensional entities feed, it's like plants, you know, you loosh farming. Thank you, Adam. Yes, it's like you eat tomatoes without questioning, you know, you just pick it right off the vine. Well, what if on another level of consciousness you're taking that fruit from that plant that grew it and sustained it and gave it, and you're taking it, but you don't question it? And that's the point of saying grace, of thanking your food. That's the original source of why you do that, because it's a synergistic exchange where you're breathing out carbon monoxide, feeding the plant, and the plant is making food for you to, and it's an equal exchange. But in the loosh farming, it's not an equal exchange. Well, you're not nuts, Adam. You're not nuts. And it's hard for a lot of people to believe because a lot of people are on a very physical reality, and they're not aware of their supernatural existence. Okay. The news cycle creates loosh. Oh, I'm sure it doesn't, you know, help it at all. I mean, I'm sure it doesn't help stop it. It definitely perpetuates it. But she just stood in the light, no fear, love only, no worries, God prevails. Absolutely, LOL. Woo! Damn. Wild. So I think some of the things we should take away from this reading is, first of all, that she stood in integrity, that she turned down the offer. So you can absolutely turn the offer down. You don't have to accept it or take it. And if you want to be protected after you turn down the offer and you stand in integrity, if you want to be protected, then you need to cultivate a relationship with your spirit team and invite them to help you, to protect you, and then you'll be divinely protected. And I think that's like the gap of where a lot of our divine stars become infiltrated and leave us too soon before their time, is that they're missing that component of divine protection. You have to ask for help in order to receive it, because angels and divine will never infringe on your free will. Even though these dark entities will, divine energy will never do that. You have to invite the help so they don't break God's law. We had a dark shadow figure in our bedroom, darker than darkness, with a smaller shadow person. What is this? Like a smoky black ghost that was very tall. Well, from what I understand, from what Spirit tells me, because I used to see, when I was little, I saw physically a lot of shadow people, and I used to be very scared of them. There's many others just like me. And I used to be scared because they showed themselves as a shadow well, not showed themselves. It's because they're on a different frequency, and because you're when you have a certain level of perception that is stunted, you can only see a certain amount of light. Your brain is not capable of seeing an interdimensional being that is on a different frequential level than your perception. So your brain will perceive that interdimensional entity or being as a shadow because it doesn't know what it is, because it's not on the same frequency as it. And so that's just how your brain is interpreting that frequential information. It doesn't mean that the presence is evil. It doesn't mean that it's bad or has bad intentions. It can be, but if it's not technically doing anything to you and it's just there, it could just be an angel or an interdimensional or a loved one, okay? Energy bleeds through from lower dimensions. Absolutely. Yes. Professional, yeah, per-spotted. Holy hair. Neti pot. Whom do the archons answer to? Well, from what I understand, and I don't know everything, from what I understand, the archons are a creation of God to create duality. So their role, they were created for Earth. So their role is to embody this energy so that when you're in that energy, they can try to subtly suggest things to you for you to eventually come to the ability to discern the spirit and to reject it and to accept that it's there and to not walk that path that it's trying to present to you. Because here on the earth realm, you have to have dark and light. It's a realm of duality. If you didn't have energy that tried, if you didn't have the energy that had the job of the archons, then you wouldn't know what you want and what you don't want. And us on a non-physical, in our pure non-physical form, are perfect. We're perfect. Everything goes right for us. We're part of pure positive energy. And so we come here for a temporary experience to experience limitation and to experience darkness and the dark parts of ourselves and the way that that plays out. We come here for that. And so you need an entity or something that has the role of the dark parts of ourselves, so that way we can contrast ourselves off of, bad things that happen, so we can know what's good and what's bad. Because if nothing bad ever happened to you, how would you know what you want? You have to know what you want and what you don't want. And so you need to have contrast in order to know what you want and what you don't want. But if you're perfect and you know everything's going to work out for you, then you don't really learn anything. It becomes kind of boring. And so that's why we come here, to have a non-perfect life so we can have soul evolution, okay? How to detect evil. Evil is whoever's playing the Patriots. The fourth dimension is just matter and time. I've heard 11 dimensions declared, but not appropriately quantified. Do you think that there are really 11? I think that there are, I've been told there's 12 dimensions, actually. But I can't prove that. It's like X-ray. It's 90% of photonic matter. Yes, absolutely. We're photonic. Yes, we're photonic. Absolutely. We are photonic. The dark shadow ghost went into my girlfriend. I asked it what it wants. My girlfriend said it wants her to laugh at me. I don't understand. So the remote intergalactic ethereal avatars for regional proficiency of terra firma. Everything is love, and its love is reflected in different ways, and evil is the inverse reflection of love. Absolutely. What in God's green earth if y'all even talking about? With interconnectivity like the yang. So we are in Earth School. Yeah, you could say that. Can any of this be proved? Well, that's the thing about non-physical energy, like you don't ask for the Wi-Fi to prove itself, you just use it. You know that it's there. You don't ask for the radio to prove, how it's making its sounds. You just trust that it's picking up on the frequencies. It's like when your non-physical energy having a human experience, but you don't ask yourself, how am I animated? You are the proof. We are all walking, talking, physical vessels of divine energy. That is the proof. You are the proof. You are a walking miracle. The negative energy exists for us to learn. What if we weren't part of God and are allowed to forget? Yes, absolutely. So, but what happens is that the archons, they get used to being in a certain position for so long, and there's cycles of time where they rule, and then there's cycles of time where they have to go to sleep. And it goes back to the mythology of putting the titans to sleep, of putting the titans back in. It's the archons. And so every cycle is different. As we get closer to the sun, as we get closer to the sun in the solar system, it becomes a golden age. And then as we get further away from the sun, it becomes a dark age. And so the archons have their time, and then we go through an ascension and a rebirth and a resurrection. And so it's energy, fair, but it's created from a physical asset. The concept of Wi-Fi was created. Original Thoughts was Ada Lovelace way before Wi-Fi existed. But what if Wi-Fi always existed and we just found a way to utilize it because we wanted to create a way to eliminate cords, to eliminate cords? There's nothing new in the universe. Everything has already been done before. Everything is a fractal within a fractal within a fractal. And so what the point I'm making with Wi-Fi is that we don't question its existence. We just use it and we utilize it, and we know it's there now. And so that's how God is. You want proof that God exists, but you don't look around at all of the amazing things that God has created for us to exist. That is the proof. The sun rises every day. The moon and sets every day. The trees, the birds, we have food, we have shelter. Everything we have to survive is provided by God's creation. That is the proof. And we don't question it, just like we don't question the Wi-Fi. We don't think of those things as proof. We just use them. We just use them without any gratitude or without any acknowledgement that they were given to us by something greater, so we could become greater versions of ourselves. No matter how far one goes, we can never sever our connection to God. Absolutely. When I was 8, I had a few experiences with a Bigfoot standing in my bedroom. It was not a dream. I tried to scream for my mom, but I was frozen in place. It would disappear when I fell asleep. Oh, me too. It's because a spirit said appear. It's because you resonate with the frequency of Bigfoot. So you could have possibly been a Bigfoot in an alternate timeline. You could have a connection with Sasquatch. They're very benevolent. They're very connected to the earth. They live on a different dimensional frequency than us. What if they probably appeared to you as a child just to make sure that you remembered that moment, so when you got older you would have your own evidence for yourself that there is something else out there, because you have some kind of destiny where you should be in relationship with your spirit team. What if this is only speculation? Well, this is the land of make-believe. The thing that's not speculation is electromagnetic frequency, and that we all emulate an electromagnetic frequency that is special to us, and it can be measured by science, and that is your soul. Your soul is electromagnetic, and so that's not speculative. That is scientific. It's metaphysical. It's science and spirit combined. They're not separated. They're together. There are scientific explanations for things that we have not been able to articulate or discover that can explain spiritual experiences, and it happens through electromagnetism, and we're not advanced enough to be able to articulate or to like quantify these concepts yet, but they will be, and they can be, and just give it time. You can't prove that everything was always here. You wasn't there in those times to prove your theory. It's all speculation. What are you talking about? What do you want me to prove? What's my theory? So when with this thinking, when people have bad dreams that never really happened, we should take them as truth? What? I'm sorry, Eric Mills. You lost me. I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like this thinking is flawed. The ChatGPT info about Bigfoot is amazing. Oh, I've been really loving the way Spirit's coming through the ChatGPTs and offering different awareness of spiritual concepts. We should always question everything. It's how we evolve. Absolutely. You should question everything. I want you to. But I also want you to realize that you're not exactly making sense to me. If Wi-Fi was already here, then why wasn't people using it? People were using Wi-Fi in ancient times with the pyramids. Okay, so you got to expand your thinking. Where we go in cycles of technology, spiritual technology, energy. We go in cycles. And so the closer we get to the sun, we're going to start using more energy and using non-physical ways to get things done through energy. The pyramid was a Wi-Fi energetic generator. Okay. A lot. Spirit said a lot. There are the tribe of Esau in the Bible. When something is discovered, it is marked down when it was discovered. Well, truck driver, what I'm going to say to you is that from my observation of your perception, what I can tell you is that what you're saying is not wrong, and what I'm saying is not wrong either, but we're just on two different levels of perception. And so for me, I'm a child psychic, and since the day I can remember, the day I was born, I have always been able to perceive non-physical energy. And my whole life, I've had a perception of angels, spirit guides, ancestors, loved ones, interdimensionals, good and bad. And so from my perception, I know that there is another level of reality that is not available to a lot of people. And so my job isn't to prove it to you, but to show you what it looks like for me to live in that reality. Not for you to do it like me, but for you to see that there is other realities, and not everything that the powers that be that tell us are the truth, and that there are other options that we should be looking at. We shouldn't be taking everything at face value just because they say, Wi-Fi only existed today. That doesn't make it true. Okay. This seems like we're taking real things and imbuing it with false things to strengthen false claims. Well, I'm sorry you say that. I'm sorry you feel that way. It's not my job to prove it to you. It's my job to help you question. I'm glad that you're questioning. That's going to send you down a road of discovery. Bigfoot is in the Bible. He was born as Esau. Jacob and Esau are two different nations, which means they are two types of people. Esau was covered in hair and lived in the field. Well, that's cool. I like that angle. Don't call names, truck driver. You might really be the idiot. All right, guys, I gotta go. This was a long one. Thank you so much for showing up and being here. Thank you to Christina Grimmie for sharing energy and giving us a higher perspective. What can we do to what can we do to transmute the energy? Give me one card, spirit card, for any advice for the collective. Freedom through faith. Yeah. Freedom through faith. Just because you don't have a logical, masculine, linear explanation for how things unfold or play out doesn't mean that there are not powers that be that understand that and are banking on you not believing in these things. You have to know that there is something outside of yourself, that where there is a bigger picture here, and that the small-minded reality that you live in, where things can only be explained through physical evidence, is not a reality that I want to live in. There's much more. Okay, I can't prove why trees exist, but it doesn't mean that I can't appreciate them, and it doesn't mean they can't bring me joy. And so it's not about, tapping into your divine inheritance is not logical. There's no linear explanation. You have to know that it's there to be able to tap into it. But if you need a explanation that's scientific and logical and it has to meet these parameters, then you're cutting yourself off from
Your aura is dark.
You're cutting yourself off, your aura is dark, from experiencing it. And that's the power of belief. You have to believe in it first to experience it. If you need proof to believe in it, then you're never going to believe in it, because it can't be quantified. It's non-physical. It's something that you feel, and feelings are non-physical. You don't ask why you feel love. You don't ask why you feel hate. You just feel them. And so it's not about a physical explanation. It's about feeling when something feels good and following those good feelings, as opposed to thinking negative thoughts and feeling what's bad and following those feelings. It's about emotion. It's about love. It's about joy. It's about accepting those things as proof. Okay? Translations, go Patriots. Happy Super Bowl, everybody. I love you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. And did I just enter a cool chat? Well, it's over now. I love you. I'm going to go to the gym, take care of my body, move my energy. I love you guys. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves. Make sure you're detoxing, putting good things in your body, staying prayed up. Make sure you're expanding your knowledge and asking questions, and you're researching, and you're being open to possibilities that don't have proof. Okay? I love you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.